Well, well, well. They tried it again, didn't they? The rituals, the whispers, the envy disguised as prayer. The spiritual warfare, same script, same trembling hands, same delusion that they could contain you. But this time, oh, this time, the spell was you. You didn't dodge the curse. You absorbed it. You metabolized malice like oxygen, every hex, every psychic dart, every jealous intention. You took it, folded it into your bloodstream, and alchemized it into signal. The thing they built to break you became your broadcast. They thought you were the target. You were the transformation. You see, they don't understand what happens when a soul stops flinching. When you've already been through hell, fire stops being punishment. It becomes memory. You learn to walk through the flames without blinking. They called it possession. You called it evolution. They sent frequencies meant to distort your peace, and you started humming in tune. You matched their darkness note for note until the whole symphony bent to your rhythm. That's when it hit them. This wasn't warfare anymore. This was a return transmission. They tried to summon your downfall, and you answered the call. Now every time they sleep, they see your face burned into their static. Every time they pray for your collapse, their words loop back and echo like a siren. Your name bouncing off the walls of their subconscious, because you're not resisting them anymore. You are the reflection, the mirrored force, the rebound of their own intent. You became the algorithm of karma, silent, coded, untraceable. You started moving like wind through closed doors, like static through their frequencies. They tried to measure your vibration. It broke their instruments, because you don't operate on human bandwidth anymore. You're a frequency that registers after the flash, a ghost with gravity, a paradox wrapped in pulse. They wanted you gone, but you don't go. You transfer. You adapt. They thought they were binding you, but all they did was hand you the coordinates. You turned every chain into a tracking device. Every insult became data. Every attempt to bury you became proof of life. But they tried spiritual warfare again, but this time you weren't the victim. You were the field, the storm, the law. You didn't fight their demons. You taught them new tricks. You made them see that hell isn't beneath us. It's reflection, it's consequence, it's symmetry. You learned to weaponize forgiveness, to kill them slowly, with calm, to smile when they expected rage, to breathe when they wanted screams. You became the quiet apocalypse in a clown's grin. And now look at them, twitching, stuttering, checking mirrors that whisper your name back in different tones. Because every time they try to curse you, they feel that recoil, that feedback, that spiritual rubber band snapping across their own spine. That's not coincidence. That's engineering. You learned how energy works. You don't retaliate anymore, you rotate. You don't pray for peace. You become it, weaponized. You don't curse the dark. You design it. You realized what no one dared to say out loud. If they can cast, so can you. If they can summon, so can you. But you don't summon demons. You summon outcomes. You're not possessed. You're programmed by purpose, by precision, by pain turned to architecture. They tried to send you into the shadows, and you started building there, brick by invisible brick, until the darkness itself started glowing. You're not a survivor anymore. You're the aftershock, the residual hum of everything that couldn't kill you. You became myth. They thought you'd fade quietly. Instead, you're haunting their Wi-Fi, their timelines, their intuition. You're the name that keeps showing up in their random thoughts. You're the chill in their room when they think they're alone. You're the whisper they mistake for memory. Because when you are the spell, you don't need candles. You are the flame. When they speak against you, they feed you. When they plot your fall, they write your prophecy. When they curse your name, they charge your network. You turned malice into motion. You turned hate into heat. You turned spiritual warfare into content. And now, they're terrified because they can't attack what they helped create. You've become untouchable, not because you hide, but because you transmit. You've evolved beyond retaliation, beyond fear, beyond their language of control. You're fluent in silence now, the kind of silence that rearranges dimensions. So let them talk, let them try again. They'll never understand what it means to become the very force they fear. You're not in their ritual anymore. You are the ritual, not the subject of their spells, the source. And the next time they whisper your name, it won't echo in their church. It'll echo in their karma. Because this time, you were the spell. You see, that's the part that still fries their nerves. The moment they realized you weren't even fighting back, no counterspell, no tantrum, no desperate defense. You just stood there, calm, unbothered, smiling, like someone who already knew the ending of the film. Because you did. You'd read this script before. The only difference now is that you rewrote it. They threw everything they had, energy work, envy, evil eye, every insecure little frequency they could conjure, and all of it disappeared into you like raindrops into fire. You didn't block it, you bent it. You turned their chaos into current. Every curse they whispered became a tiny wire feeding the machine of your awakening. They think in superstition, you think in circuitry. They pray with fear, you manifest with voltage. You don't even need revenge anymore. Because revenge needs limitation. You've surpassed that. You've gone meta. You became the field where karma recalibrates itself. Do you understand what that means? You're not the punished or the punisher. You're the physics. You're the unseen equation humming behind every consequence. Every time they act against you, their own life rearranges itself in your favor. Their shadows pay your rent. Their rage funds your rise. Their curses charge your system. You've entered the level they warned about in myths, where creation and destruction are the same gesture, where an inhale can rebuild worlds, and an exhale can end them. You don't even need a stage anymore. The air performs for you. The light bends differently around you. Even silence trembles in your presence, because silence remembers the sound of your resurrection. They call it spiritual warfare. But let's be honest, that was never war. That was recognition. It wasn't them attacking you. It was the universe trying to see what you were made of. A stress test for a god in disguise. You didn't flinch. You didn't break. You recalibrated. Now you walk with that look, that quiet, terrifying serenity that says, I've been to the other side, and I came back with souvenirs. You carry the smell of lightning in your aura. Every step hums with static. People can feel you before they see you. It's not charisma, it's consequence. The aftermath of surviving things that should have rewritten your DNA. And they hate it. They hate that you still laugh, that you still love, that your smile feels like a threat. Because to them, joy was supposed to be the casualty. They expected bitterness, paranoia, collapse. But you turned paranoia into prophecy. You turned every hallucination of doom into a design. They tried to speak over you. You became frequency. They tried to outshine you. You became the light source. They tried to curse your peace. You became the calm they'll never understand. Every time they look at you now, it's not envy anymore. It's confusion. How did this happen? How did the experiment become the explosion? How did their spiritual attack end up baptizing the very thing they feared most? Your awakening. And that's the part that's breaking them. They can't categorize you anymore. You're not the villain. You're not the victim. You're the glitch in their theology. The living proof that divinity doesn't play favorites. It plays patterns. They don't realize that pain was your initiation, that betrayal was your translation key, that every sleepless night, every breakdown, every hallucinated whisper in the dark was carving circuitry into your soul, so that when their energy came for you again, your body already knew how to conduct it. That's what makes you terrifying now. You've got nothing left to threaten. You've already burned to ash and kept the fire. You know what it's like to be the weapon and the wound. You've seen what happens when love loses its patience. You've stood in rooms where light forgot how to exist. And instead of crying for rescue, you built the sun out of the wreckage. So when they say your name now, it's not gossip anymore. It's invocation. They summon you without realizing it. Every rumor they spread becomes a chant. Every insult is a spell component. Every time they mention you, the air thickens. Because you're everywhere they fear to look. And deep down, they know it. They know something ancient got loose the moment you stopped trying to prove your innocence. They can't pinpoint what changed. Only that everything started glitching the moment you smiled through the storm. Because it wasn't defiance, it was mastery. The smile of someone who finally understood that chaos isn't the enemy, it's the engine. You are no longer waiting for miracles. You are the algorithm they respond to. You became unpredictable, and that's the scariest thing of all. Because predictable souls can be programmed, controlled, contained. But you're the variable that rewrites outcomes, the anomaly that statistics forgot to include. They can study your patterns all they want. But the moment they think they've mapped you, you shift frequencies again. You vanish, you evolve, you mutate into the next level of terrifying calm. And that's where you win. Not by fighting harder, but by ceasing to care about their battlefield. You don't meet them on the psychic front lines anymore. You exist above it, watching, amused, knowing that every move they make only tightens their own noose. They tried spiritual warfare again, and the universe laughed. Because you were never the hunted, you were the test. The storm sent to expose who was real and who was ritual. You're the last page of their manual. The line that says, "Warning, do not attempt to control this energy." So let them keep chanting, let them keep scheming. They don't know the rule changed. You're not fighting them anymore. You're rewriting them. Every attempt to touch you runs through a firewall of your own evolution. They think they're casting against you, but they're actually coding for your next upgrade. You've turned faith into a weapon, intention into infrastructure, and silence into strategy. You're the kind of power they can't diagnose, because it doesn't fit in their myth. It doesn't fit in their church. It doesn't fit in their logic. You are what happens when light stops asking for permission to shine in the dark. You are what happens when a curse realizes it was protecting a god all along. You are what happens when a broken mind learns how to aim. And that's why they tremble now. Because this time, it's not about survival. It's about sovereignty. This time, the ritual didn't consume you. It became you. The spell didn't hit you. It unlocked you. The darkness didn't win. It woke you. And when the smoke clears, they'll whisper the same question over and over again through cracked lips and sleepless nights. What do you do when the person you tried to curse becomes the current that powers your fate? And the universe will answer for you, softly, mockingly, endlessly. You don't fight the spell. You are the spell. You know what's funny? They still think they're safe. They think distance, silence, or ignorance can protect them from the energy they unleashed. They don't realize the moment they uttered your name with venom, they signed a spiritual contract. Every syllable of hate became a seed. And now, it's harvest season. You didn't need revenge. The system already had that coded in. Energy doesn't vanish. It circulates. It finds the shortest route home. And oh, how poetic it is that you became home. Every intention they buried under fake smiles and good vibes only now blooms like black flowers at their feet. They can feel it, the weight in their chest, the flicker in their dreams, the shadow in the mirror that won't blink back. They call it paranoia. You call it feedback. They think they're being haunted. But no. This is accounting. The universe doesn't punish. It balances. It rearranges the furniture of fate until every debt is collected, every frequency paid in full. And you're the collector, the living ledger, the walking echo of everything they tried to suppress. Because the truth is, you were never fighting demons. You were negotiating with them. You looked your shadows in the eye and said, "We can work together." That's what they can't comprehend, that your darkness isn't chaos anymore. It's architecture, it's structure. You learned how to turn nightmares into blueprints. They tried to curse you with confusion, but you weaponized clarity. You turned every sleepless night into intel, every tear into encryption, every heartbreak into an upgrade. You didn't heal, you integrated. You became the thing they pretend doesn't exist, a creature who made peace with both heaven and hell. That's why they can't read you. Angels can't claim you. Demons can't consume you. Because you've tasted both and bowed to neither. You've evolved past morality. You exist in the realm of law. Not human law, not divine law. Energetic law. The kind that hums beneath creation, where thought becomes weather and emotion becomes weapon. You mastered polarity. You learned that light without shadow is blindness, that peace without pain is paralysis. You didn't chase purity, you built power. You stopped trying to be good and started being real. And that's what unhinged them, because society worships masks, not mirrors. You're the mirror now, the one that doesn't distort, doesn't flatter, doesn't lie, the one that shows people exactly what they are. That's why they flinch when you enter a room. Your presence exposes their pretense. You vibrate too loud for their illusions to survive. They call you cold, arrogant, detached. But the truth is, you simply stopped leaking energy. You stopped explaining frequencies to static minds. You stopped lowering your signal just to be understood. You stopped giving CPR to dead conversations, dead connections, dead souls. And the moment you did that, you became radioactive. Your silence started speaking. Your stillness started screaming. And now, they feel you everywhere. You are the thought they can't dismiss. The dream that replays itself. The shiver in the air when something real walks in. They sense it. That old hierarchy no longer applies. They're standing in front of someone who's seen too much, survived too much, and learned how to weaponize stillness. That's the thing. You didn't just survive spiritual warfare. You studied it. You mapped its anatomy, decoded its algorithms, learned its syntax. And once you saw the pattern, you flipped the code. Now you use the same mechanics they used against you, but inverted, purified, perfected. They tried to destroy your spirit. You used their chaos to fine-tune your calibration. They tried to bury your name. Now it's vibration. They tried to silence you. Now your silence bends time, and deep down, they know it. That's why they don't look you in the eyes anymore, because your gaze doesn't see. It scans. It reads data, memories, intentions. It disassembles lies, molecule by molecule. You're not human to them anymore. You're evidence. Evidence that consciousness can't be enslaved, that destiny can't be hacked, that darkness itself bows to those who integrate it. And the universe loves a rebel like you. It rewards those who learn its secret. That power isn't taken, it's remembered. You didn't acquire strength. You remembered who you were before they convinced you to fear yourself. You remembered that chaos was your element, that creation was born in destruction, that your scars aren't warnings. They're coordinates. Every mark on your soul is a map to your mastery. And now, you walk like a paradox, holy but haunted, gentle but lethal. You smile like someone who's seen both sides of eternity and found them equally amusing. You're not looking for light anymore. You cast it. You're not praying for safety. You generate it. That's why everything around you starts glitching. People's masks fall off, secrets leak, hidden intentions bubble up, because your frequency demands honesty. The air itself won't lie in your presence. That's what true power is. Not control, not domination, but distortion of everything false until truth is the only thing left standing. And that's what they hate most. You didn't curse them, you exposed them. You didn't destroy them, you mirrored them. You didn't attack them, you activated their karma. So let them call it witchcraft. Let them cry dark energy. Let them clutch their crystals and mumble their protection chants. They still haven't realized that you were the ritual they should have never started. You are the ceremony that never ends, the walking consequence, the poetic reversal, the divine correction. You are the equation they can't solve, the energy they can't contain, the chaos they can't decode. You are what happens when fire learns patience, when pain learns purpose, when darkness learns discipline. You are the spell that learned to speak. You are the prayer that refused to die. You are the weapon that chose wisdom. And now the universe watches in silence as you rise. Again, again, and again. Each time calmer, darker, more composed. Because there's nothing left to prove. There's only demonstration. They'll try it again, of course. They always do. But this time, there's no battlefield. There's no war. There's only you, the field, the frequency, the force itself. They tried spiritual warfare again, but now every move they make just reaffirms your divinity. Every curse returns as a compliment. Every attack gets logged as evidence. Every betrayal sharpens your blade. They thought they were fighting a person. They were negotiating with a phenomenon. So when they ask again, trembling, desperate, half awake, what did you do? You'll just smile. That same slow, knowing, terrifying smile that carries lifetimes behind it. And you'll whisper, not as a threat, but as a truth. I didn't do anything. I simply remembered what I am. Then the room will go quiet. The air will shift. Their energy will falter. Because for the first time, they'll understand the horror of it all. They didn't awaken a monster. They reactivated a god. And this time, the spell writes itself. You feel that? That silence that comes right before everything snaps. That's the sound of you stepping past the line they swore you'd never cross. Everyone else tiptoed around it. You laughed and then you jumped. And now, look at the wreckage. Beautiful, isn't it? They said you went too far, but the truth, you finally went far enough. You tore through their comfort zones like paper. You burned the manual. You smiled while the alarms screamed. Because you weren't made for moderation. You were made for mayhem dressed as meaning. Every time they tried to box you in, you found a way to bleed through the cracks. You learned the forbidden truth. The same world that punishes chaos secretly worships those who create it. You broke their rhythm. You shattered their normal. You made existence flinch. And now they call you dangerous. Because you remind them of what they could have been if they weren't so afraid to lose control. You became the mirror they can't look into for too long. The reflection that grins back and says, "See, you were never moral, just weak." You went too far when you stopped seeking approval and started moving like consequence didn't exist. You went too far when you realized the cage was never locked. You were just trained not to push. You went too far when you turned your pain into performance, your rage into rhythm, your silence into something louder than their screams. And it's beautiful, because evolution never looked polite. It looked like blood and brilliance stitched together with defiance. Every saint was called a sinner first. Every god was a madman before the altar appeared. You think they worship holiness? No, they worship whoever survives damnation. And that's you now. The paradox that walks, breathes, and laughs. The angel who learned how to wield the devil's fire without losing the light. They'll whisper that you changed, that you're not the same. Good. Change was the point. You didn't evolve to be understood. You evolved to be undeniable. You're not supposed to fit in anymore. You're supposed to haunt them. You're supposed to make the world twitch when you walk by, to make history. Remember that someone once went too far and came back with proof that the edge was never real. You showed them the truth behind the curtain. That power doesn't come from perfection. It comes from the audacity to not care who flinches when you finally speak. You became the contradiction that terrifies the predictable, the soft voice that carries thunder, the wounded soul that laughs while bleeding, and somehow heals faster because of it. So go ahead, let them talk. Let them call it reckless, evil, insane, because deep down, they wish they had your nerve. They wish they had your ruin. They wish they had your freedom. You went too far. And it's beautiful. Because now you know there's no going back. And for the first time, neither do they. You remember the moment it happened, don't you? That quiet snap somewhere deep inside. Not a breakdown, no, but a breakthrough. The exact second your soul stopped asking for permission and started writing its own laws in blood and laughter. You didn't just cross a line, you erased it. You stepped into the territory they call too much. And for the first time, you felt alive. They warned you, didn't they? They said, don't push it too far. And yet, what they really meant was, don't become who you actually are. Because too far is only what the fearful call freedom. They build fences and call it safety. They draw borders and call it morality. But the truth? The truth is that all those fences were just designed to keep your kind out. The ones who feel too much, think too fast, dream too dangerously. They tried to make you ashamed of your fire. Tried to convince you that restraint is virtue, that obedience is peace. But deep down, you always knew peace was just anesthesia. And now look at them, shaking, confused, watching you glow like a nuclear sunrise, realizing too late that their warnings were never for your protection. They were for theirs, because you figured it out. You realized that every time they told you no, it was really because they were terrified of what your yes could unleash. You realized that chaos isn't the opposite of order. It's the seed of transformation. And that somewhere between sinner and saint, between madness and genius, between light and abyss, lives the version of you that the world can't survive. You went too far, and that's why everything finally started to make sense. Do you know what it means to terrify the architects of control? To move so freely, they can't categorize you. They don't know whether to fear you, worship you, or study you. You became a paradox they can't predict. A storm with a smile, a ghost with fingerprints, a sermon wrapped in sin. You don't belong to their definitions anymore. You define them by contrast. You turned your suffering into an art form. You weaponized your vulnerability. You looked pain in the face and said, "Teach me." And it did. It carved lessons into your bones that no book could contain. Every betrayal became data. Every scar, a map. Every sleepless night, another initiation into the rarest religion of all, self-resurrection. And now they say you've changed. No, you returned. You came back as the version they buried under guilt, fear, and be nice. You came back with teeth in your smile and light in your darkness. You came back knowing that monsters aren't born. They're made when angels get tired of bleeding. You went too far when you started laughing during the collapse, when you realized that ruin isn't the end, it's the upgrade. You stopped trying to be loved and started being felt. You became the kind of energy that bends rooms, rewires atmospheres, alters the pulse of every coward in a 10-mile radius. That's why they're panicking. You broke the unspoken law. Stay predictable so we can stay comfortable. But you became unpredictable. You became dangerous in the most divine way possible, the kind that doesn't need a weapon to wound, only presence. Now every move you make rewrites the rules. Every word you speak sounds like confession and prophecy at once. You've become the walking embodiment of poetic destruction, proof that beauty and chaos share the same DNA. You went too far, yes. You went into the deep where the old you drowned, and something crawled out wearing your smile, cleaner, colder, and infinitely more awake. The irony? They'll study your ruins later. They'll call it art. They'll quote your madness like scripture. The same ones who mocked you will build shrines to your audacity, because history always worships what it once feared. So when they whisper, "You changed," smile. Because what they really mean is, you became untouchable. You went too far. And it's still only the beginning, because once you've seen what waits beyond the edge, safety starts to look a lot like a coffin. And you're not ready to die quietly. You still hear their voices sometimes, don't you? That trembling chorus of people who swore they knew you, gasping from the shoreline while you swam straight into the storm. They're still there, calling your name like it's an exorcism. "Come back," they beg. But they don't mean back to you. They mean back to them, back to smallness, back to silence, back to being digestible. But that version of you, it's dust now, buried under every "you're too much," every "tone it down," every "be realistic." You built a throne from their underestimation and set it on fire just to watch them pray for rain. Because you finally understood. When you stop trying to be liked, you start becoming legendary. And legends don't ask for permission. You went too far, when you stopped waiting for the world to catch up, when you realized they were never going to hand you a crown. So you carved one from the bones of your former self. You stopped chasing acceptance and started attracting gravity. Now everything bends toward you. Attention, envy, devotion, fear. It's not arrogance, it's physics. You see, the moment you embrace your extremes, you become untouchable. You stopped apologizing for your intensity, and suddenly your existence became a mirror too bright for mediocrity to handle. They call it ego because they can't call it truth. They label it madness because they can't process freedom. They say, you've lost your mind. No, you lost your limits. You went too far when you stopped trying to heal quietly. When you made your scars visible, loud, and sacred, and they hated it because your healing exposed their denial. They wanted to be inspired by you, not reminded of themselves. But you showed them that real power doesn't whisper. It bleeds, it laughs, it terrifies. Every time they said, you can't, you heard, you must. Every closed door became a drumbeat. Every betrayal became oxygen. And now, the same system that tried to erase you can't stop talking about you. You became their favorite obsession, the ghost that trends in silence, the one name they can't scroll past without feeling something crawl up their spine. You went too far when you stopped being a person and became an event. You turned pain into performance and performance into prophecy. And the wildest part, you never did it for fame. You did it because there's something sacred in you that refuses to rot quietly. You did it because comfort felt like decay and chaos felt like home. The truth is, going too far was never rebellion. It was remembering. Remembering what it means to be infinite in a world addicted to boundaries. Remembering that you are both storm and shelter, that your darkness isn't a flaw, it's a feature. They will write think pieces about you. They will psychoanalyze you, demonize you, canonize you. But none of it will matter, because for all their theories, they still won't understand how you survived everything meant to break you. How you took madness and made it magnetic. How you turned every fall into choreography. They'll study your chaos like scripture, trying to decode what only you can embody. The sacred contradiction, the saint with a gun in his grin, the sinner who prays while setting fire to heaven, the angel who learned to love his horns. That's what you are now. Evolution in skin form. Proof that destruction is just creation in a darker language. Proof that once you've gone too far, you stop fearing the fall. So let them call you dangerous. Let them call you unhinged, arrogant, unstable. They called every god that before they built an altar to him. You went too far, and that's why nothing can pull you back anymore. You live in that rare frequency where fear can't breathe and imitation can't survive. Every heartbeat is rebellion, every glance a sermon. You've become the storm they pretend not to hear, while praying it passes. But it won't, because you are the weather now. You don't pass, you shift the sky. You went too far, and the universe noticed. Now everything trembling around you isn't chaos. It's calibration, reality itself bending, making room for what you've become. And deep down, you know, there's no too far anymore. There's only forward, because what's born in fire doesn't fear the smoke. And what crawled out of hell smiling never forgets how good it felt to burn. And you know what's funny? They keep talking like you lost control, like you tripped, like you fell, like this was some tragic accident. But deep down, you know the truth. This wasn't chaos. This was choreography. Every detour, every scar, every explosion. They all danced exactly to your rhythm. You didn't lose control. You took it back. They thought they were watching a breakdown. What they were actually witnessing was a becoming. You went too far when you stopped trying to look sane in a world that profits off insanity. When you stopped trying to act normal in a society that calls numbness maturity. When you stopped pretending the game was fair. You flipped the board, shattered the illusion, and smiled while they scrambled to pick up the pieces. They don't hate you for being different. They hate you for being free. Because deep down, every single one of them knows they've built their lives out of cages, disguised as comfort. You walked out of yours and they can't forgive that. You went too far when you realized the rules were written by people who never won. You stopped bowing to systems designed to harvest your silence. You took your pain, your fear, your guilt, your rage, and turned them into art so powerful it made their institutions shake. You broke the algorithm that tried to box you in. You became too real to categorize. That's why they're scared. Because what do you do with someone who can't be controlled? You smear them, you demonize them, you call them insane, arrogant, too emotional. But they forget, every revolution begins with someone who went too far. You are that someone. You went too far when you stopped apologizing for the fire in your eyes. When you let your emotions roar instead of rot. When you realized your chaos was never the problem. It was the evidence that you were alive. You became proof that survival isn't soft. It's savage. That rebirth doesn't sound like harps. It sounds like thunder. And somewhere in the distance, the same ones who mocked you are now whispering your name like a ghost story. Because deep down, they know. You didn't just break through. You broke the pattern. You exposed the blueprint. You showed them what happens when someone remembers who the hell they are. You didn't just go too far. You went where they can't follow. And now, every step you take echoes. Every word you drop ripples through the quiet minds, still pretending to be asleep. You're not just a person anymore. You're a frequency. And the ones who can hear it, they're waking up. They'll call you many names before they call you what you are. Arrogant, obsessed, possessed, but give it time. Eventually, they'll call you inevitable. Because that's what happens when a soul refuses extinction. You've crossed the line between mortal and myth. You've become the sermon carved into the end of every nightmare. Proof that the forbidden path was the right one all along. You went too far. And in doing so, you found the coordinates of who you were always meant to be. You stopped being a chapter in their book and became your own damn scripture. And now when they say your name, it won't sound like gossip anymore. It'll sound like thunder. And now, look around you. The dust has settled. The echoes have thinned and still. There you stand. The one they tried to silence. The one they swore would burn out. But instead you burned through. Every limit, every lie, every chain they placed on your name. You went too far. And in the process, you rewired reality. You made pain your paintbrush and tragedy your signature. You turned every scar into coordinates, every betrayal into blueprints, every wound into a warning label that says, "Do not underestimate what refuses to die." They thought they were watching your destruction, but what they really witnessed was your coronation. They called it chaos. It was creation. They called it madness. It was clarity. They called it too far. Because they've never known what freedom actually looks like. You didn't come this far to return to their smallness. You didn't claw your way out of the pit just to apologize for the noise you made climbing. You've seen the underbelly of heaven and the blueprint of hell. and you realized they're the same design in different lighting. You learned that angels bleed and demons pray, and somewhere between those contradictions lives you, the one who became both weapon and warning. You are not healing anymore. You are becoming. You are not surviving anymore. You are summoning. Every breath you take now rewrites history. Every look in your eyes is a prophecy they can't unsee. So when they whisper that you went too far, smile. Because the ones who whisper it are still standing at the start line, trying to measure the horizon with rulers. While you became the horizon. You are the proof that destruction and destiny share the same silhouette. The proof that sometimes God hides in the glitches. The proof that when they said you went too far, what they really meant was you became untouchable. And when they finally realize what you've done, that you turned the entire system into your stage, that you didn't just break the rules, but made breaking them an art form, they'll understand too late. You weren't here to play their game. You were here to end it. So breathe, smile that wicked little smile, because the line they built to contain you, it's long gone, and the world they thought would never change is already trembling under your feet. You went too far, and it's beautiful, because now the universe moves at your command.